Hey guys, what's going on? We are back. This camera always looks bad. Let's see this. All right, well, let's see what was going on here. I saw one person waiting, so I'm thinking that it's on. So, what's going on? Happy Wednesday evening. On to the turn of the new year. We're back here in the garage with the other boat. So, I started binging on the other boat and trying to build it out because this boat was kind of wrapped up with problems, and the problems mainly surrounded the outboard. And I really kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that mess. But really, we got pretty far on the other 1648. And then I need to take a little break from it because footage and stuff was compiling. So I had to process it and organize it. Because if you just keep on recording and moving on and recording, moving on, the mess of footage you have to like process and deal with at the level that we're doing it now. It just becomes super overwhelming, and all I want to do is not do anything and run away from it. So had to sit down and just handle it. Also had to sit down and declutter this garage. So this garage for the moment is still not as clean as I need it to be or organized as I need it to be. The shelves need to be redone. Everything else on the floor is kind of off. That took forever. And then I had to declutter and reorganize all my footage on the computer. So all those things could take hours. Hours and hours. There's so many components to the whole thing, which that stunk. But I'm glad to be kind of taking a break from that one because I feel like I can't move on to that other 1648 completely until this 1648 right here that we're about to debut in this live is done. And I've only got like a handful of things to do, and it really is just the fine-tuned rigging. And then this thing is ready to go on the water. But I have it in a pretty good demo. It just rained the other day. And so there's a really good example of about why we started doing these hollow subfloors. And then we can just show you a little bit about what we're going to do as far as wiring and rigging, because we have all that here too. So let me get a few things out of here. I'm going to go ahead and try to not knock most of this down. What is that? Oh, yeah, check that thing out. We'll be installing this. This is a little 100 amp hour mini we talked about a few lives ago. Hey, thank you for that money, Bert and Patsick. I forget that there actually can be super chats and stuff like that. If you guys have something that you really want to stand out, hey, what's going on, Sycamore? Thanks, Bern. Pat Pissark Jr. Pissark? I really hate to butcher your name after funding the live. I hope I got your last name right. If you got a specific question there, Bern, let me know. But thank you for going on there. What's going on, Damien? How are you? What's going on, all the 24 people in the chat? How's things? Hey, Andrew Love. Got your light bar going out to you here pretty soon. Again, email me at mike@tbnation.net just to confirm with me what you had won. If you had won anything during the past week of lives. I know a few of you did. I got your email, Damien. I think I got Andrew Love's email. Anybody else want to email me that you honestly did win something, we'll hook you up and we'll take care of you. Let me see. I think I need this one too. It's a mess. Big mess in this whole garage. Yep. Yeah, we're going to reorganize that. There's a Predator generator back there. I bought it because I was going to make a bow rig out of this pontoon boat I had. I had to ditch it. Which I'm glad, because I had this crazy idea. It was going to be called the Mullet Tune. I was going to build a bass boat deck on top of a pontoon boat and totally kit out the storage and just make it a legit fishing pontoon boat. But like also with seats and a T-top in the back with lights and bow lights. I was going to make it this crazy rig. But now I'm thinking that's not terribly smart. So, but I've got new ideas that I'm going to implement on my buddy's pontoon boat. So he's going to be like a guinea pig. And then just kind of like how we had this one trial run with this 1648 here. And then we got a do-over right around. We're going to maybe kind of do that with these pontoon boats. I don't really know how the audience will respond to pontoon boats. I think a fair amount of you like it. The little tiny tune that we did, that probably wasn't terribly effective because there were a bunch of other people kind of planning, and that boat came out kind of bland. But the boats we do out of this garage, well, actually those are too big to get in this garage, but you know, around, they'll be nice. But that I promise you guys. All right, for the 27 people in here, can we get 27 likes? We're almost halfway there. We can get 27 likes. We can probably get about 50 people in this chat, and we could keep going on. Yeah, we have great end of year sales. We're trying to meet this quota, guys. We're like 30K away from meeting the quota. And so we're willing to give away a lot of stuff right now. That's why we're out here doing lives every night. I might have to like chill out and actually edit a video and get that out. I would like to just finish this whole series. It's broken up for this boat. But you guys get to see it in a live here. We can walk you through anything. If you got questions about anything, please do not hesitate to ask. I can see you briefly right in the chat, and then every once in a while I'll be able to scroll through the chat here on the phone and see exactly what it is you guys are asking for. I got these two batteries over here. Let's flip this around. You guys can see what this is. Give a like for the boat. If you like this boat, hit the like button. Put it that way. Where's the like button? If you're in the chat, sometimes you can't see it. You have to back out of the chat and you'll be able to see it. And then hit it and come back into the chat. Yeah, just, I think that's like just a thing that YouTube does. You could also just, I think, tap the live and like it. All right, so this is the original 1648 that we have built up with the 1648 Weekend Warrior John Boat Kit. So we built this whole thing out of that kit. Even this, the sheet metal packs that come like that, we bent and welded all that. And if you guys want to talk about like entry-level ways into welding, I can totally do that for you guys. If you guys want to look into it, because it really isn't that hard. I went back and forth. You know, like when you don't know something, but you think you can do it, you always try to divert to experts. And really was a big mixed feedback of people saying welding wasn't that hard, to a bunch of other people saying welding is hard, and you know what you need to know what you're doing. You need to go to school. And I was like, school again, huh? Because I'm schooled out. I don't ever want to touch an institution again if I don't have to. So I like held off until I really couldn't hold off anymore. Projects were getting too advanced, and I couldn't get around certain things with certain boats I had without welding, like issues with the transom, issues with the end caps, issues with the bows that you can't rivet your way out. We did pretty good for a long time, guys. Like, we made rivets go places nobody else was even taking rivets. We built entire boats out of rivets and like nothing from scratch. So we had a run, but we had to kind of weld. Eventually, we had to start welding something. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. I think if you can get away with rivets, most places you should do that. Just cleaner, easier, safer. But everything that's like structural and low bearing or reliant, like these are all welded here. Let me flip this around. Welded these. Had to, because we had to cut this. This had that stupid, you know, like these bass truckers, they have these end caps and transom caps that are welded on. Which sucks because it's treated plywood under there and you have to take it out. So we had to learn how to weld in order to deal with this. So you see all these little 2 and 3 inch runs welded on that seam. Nothing but, oh yeah, back in there too. You can't see underneath this, but yeah, you can. Right there. And so we just, I mean, there was those things, some things with a bow. This is actually our trolling motor mount, but I modified it with those. See those caps, those end caps, side caps? I modified it with those, but that's because this front is just different. Most of the time, it's just going to be like this. Underneath here, it's bolted here because there's actually a shim underneath, an angle bracket that you can raise. It's adjustable. So this is adjustable up to 5 inches. And then it's meant to kind of come down and hang over the side here, at which point in time you would rivet or bolt it right down to the bow gunnel. But we have it just elevated and floated up here. Again, because we could weld, we did that. And then these horizontal caddies actually pair really well with these trolling motor mounts. In fact, I think that was like one of the key things they were actually for. In fact, when you get the Weekend Warrior John Boat kits, they come with that, like the 1648. I'm sorry, the 1436 weekend warrior John boat kits. But this is actually for a Tarova mount. You see how this is much wider than this one? It's because the Tarova mounts are so much fatter. The Power Drive, Tarova, Altera, those. So this is an extra fat one. I just had it laying around is all I had. So I figured I'd probably put it in here. I obviously modified it, and so that kind of screws up like the elegancy of the stock product. So, but hey, dude, like, I don't know. The side panels look way cleaner than with no side panels. It was like a huge gap because of how we ran it. But the trolling motor mounts are one of our most popular things. They're actually on sale right now. They're getting going. All of our graph mounts are on sale. Our Gen 1, our Gen 2 graph mounts. Any of our stock products, we'll be running through a few of those stock products. Those things are all on sale. Anything in-house. Stuff from third-party vendors, we try and run sales for as long as they'll allow us, but a lot of people don't want their stuff chronically on sale because it pisses everybody else off they're distributing to. But our house products, like, we'll run those things on sale forever until we can't anymore. So, I mean, end of the year, it's coming pretty good. TBNation.net, check it out. End of the year sale. Let's get back to it. Okay, so I like the horizontal caddies. I really like our gear caddies. I cannot say enough good things about these. These are like the start of our simple mods. I liked one so much, I put one here on the gunnel here. Wish I had like a drink to show you. Hold on, let's go get some things and put them in there. That's some pliers. And, well, I don't have any baits. Maybe I do. Yeah. This is like the OG stubby. This is one I caught. I have this one around. I'm too afraid to use it. Because if it breaks, I don't have it anymore. So this kind of, any bait that catches a lot of fish, I retire it up here. These two baits have caught so many fish, I retired them. They're just up there. Because that one I caught my PB Muskie on. That one I haven't actually caught anything on, but it looks really good. So we just leave it up there. It's like a model. That was my first bait ever. It's too heavy to cast. You got to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger to cast that thing. Like it's like 10 ounces. It's pretty big. I'll put that there. You guys tried this stuff? Sparkling water? And they have mountain spring water. It's pretty good too. Then they have flavored sparkling water. All of it tastes pretty bad. But the non-flavored stuff tastes all right. There we go there. And so that's just constantly there. I wouldn't recommend hanging treble hooked baits in these hooks, but you could do that. Obviously, it's more for like spinner baits, chatter baits, like single hook lures. But like that's your immediate little deal right there. Hang them right there as you're fishing. Access them when you need. It's just like right away from the co-angler chair. And then we also installed these 3 individual ones. But we have these here too. So I've always wanted to kind of do this, finish it off. Some of them have this little weird stock version of this, but it's not really that clean. All right, I'm going to switch back to me, but only because I'm going to go find a rod to show you how well that works. Let's go get an 8-foot rod. Ow, I made it for an 8-foot rod. 8-foot rod. All of these are 9 feet. 9 or 10 feet. Dang, where are all my 8-foot rods? We're just going to grab one of these. Oh, there's an 8-footer. There we go. Don't fall, please. We'll grab a rando rod here. So, I need a bigger garage. All right. Let me show you here real quick. Let me see if I can attach this to the side of the boat and just show you. Stay. Yeah, let me show you there. Okay, so this right here, this is an Atwood rod holder from Walmart. Walmart notoriously has these. I don't exactly know what they're called. But I do know that I've only gotten them from Walmart and that they are actually really nice for side storage rods. Like either in the catwalk or somewhere. They're just nice. They're just soft and rubbery and they got a little neoprene, little Velcro strap over it. And I like running those. And then, here, let me see if I can, stupid chair. All or I'm going to put them right there. I think that's like the best view. Let me get this stupid can out of the way. The best view I can do right now, which is not, no, hold on. I want to give you guys a better view than that. That view sucks. All right. So you see this, we're going to use this as an actual stand. So the wall, it's good for something here. There we go. It's got to be way better. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see the whole thing. All right, let's do this. All right. I would put 3 here, but this here, right here, this like square little bracket here, that actually is the conduit for the trolling motor wire to run into the battery wells, which we'll show you those here pretty soon. But this is an 8-footer. 8-foot rod. And the bottom one, obviously the boat starts tapering up, so it's going to be a little bit less lengthy. I think you can still stick an 8-footer in there, but it's a little tight. So I'll go ahead and just stick one of these in. Just like that. Or you can put it up here too if you want. And then, I don't know, I don't have a third one. I don't know what you could essentially put some sort of like lengthy pole, like a yellow tech stick or something here if you really needed to, because this is just a false wall. And then these go right in here, just like that. So it's really not like obviously it's not a rod locker. We couldn't fit a rod locker because we chose to put seats. So everybody, I've always pushed max efficiency models, and seats are not efficient. They're just a luxury. But people have always asked for seats. Seats. Mike, do something with seats. Fine, we did something with seats. And here's the whole thing. These are way more comfortable. If you travel in these, if you even just sit in these right now, they're way more comfortable than sitting on that bench. For sure, for long runs and for like casual runs, or if you just need that extra comfort and you're not really going to tough it out sitting on a bench, because this foam is not very comfortable. I mean, it's more comfortable than nothing, but it's like, it's not like a seat. So there's the whole thing. If you try and do a full cockpit area like this, you're going to end up compromising on total actual space into the boat, which is why we did the other 1648 the way we did. But it's not terrible. We were able to make storage out of these. So this is actually just some of the leftover hardware and stuff we have from the motor. Here's one of our our breakers for the trolling motor, which we're going to be installing here. We got 6-gauge wire running through that conduit that we showed you, that little square patch running right through there. Yamaha 25 early. Hold on, I'll catch you guys up in the chat here pretty soon. So we got that here. This is our hat channel. You can just buy a straight hat channel like this from us. We actually make it and ship it out with kits. A lot of people will buy kits and then have add-ons, so they save on shipping. Because anything over, I think, $200 or $300 right now in December is free shipping. It's obviously this stuff is pretty expensive, so it doesn't take you quite long to qualify for free shipping. This here is the actual. Oh, I want to show you this. Everybody's always like, make sure there's a vent for the battery. So we got a vent. It's constantly going to get hit right there, and we have an on-off switch right there. And then so that is all right in here. And we have a stupid starter battery here that's too big for this well. And I actually did something about that. I want to show you guys what I did there. Then we have a little 50 amp hour Power Queen lithium running the whole boat. So it'll be running all the pumps, live well. But there's not a whole lot here to need anything bigger than that. That will actually last you for a very long time if it's only running the house stuff. Especially if you have a live well timer, which we don't have one on this boat. But we have like the basic starter kit. Flow right kit in here, but I don't know, timers. Running the live well is not going to kill your battery. Really, it's not. So if you run it for like days on end, then yeah. But a live well timer is nice, but I think the live well timers were much more preferred before like 100 amp hour lithium batteries were ever in existence, because those things by themselves, it's really hard to kill a 100 amp hour lithium battery. Just simply running your house accessories on the boat. It's pretty pretty hard to do it. Let me catch up here with see what you guys said, so I don't miss you. I don't miss you guys saying something. Let me here put it right here on the steering wheel. All right, guys. There's Dwight and cut once. It's very true. Yamaha does make good motors. The whole thing about Yamaha over here is there's only a few companies that actually service them, like 1 or 2 places in total in the town, and they're sketch. So when you go to buy an outboard, damn, that's loud music. Wow, that's loud. So when you're checking for an outboard, you got to think about beyond just the motor itself. You got to think about support and maintenance. So unless you're just some smart guy that can just figure out outboards, I don't know. That's why I have Mercs. I have chronic Mercs because I just have to. Cable sock, yeah, the trolling motor cable socks are totally in. There's cable socks that are on that trolling motor right now, Corey. That one, just trolling motor cable sleeve, I think is what it's called, or trolling motor sleeve on TBNation.net, and we have cable sleeves. This is actually called a cable sleeve out, and for all the engine cables. This one actually was wrapped around here before we took it off because we installed this outboard. Let me see what else we got here. Any for sale online? I think most of our house products that are ours, TBNation branded, like our lids, accessory products like those caddies and the day boxes, those are all on sale. Kayak USA, what's going on, guys? Pro. All right. Hey, thank you, Kayak USA, for that. Appreciate it. Okay. Mostly it's when I get any feedback from the kayak community, it's generally they don't like me very much. But yeah. So Yamaha Yamaha, if we're going to compare, Yamaha does make better motors. I think Yamaha's the only one that really rivals Yamaha is probably Suzuki. Suzuki notoriously makes really good motors. I think in many cases, a lot of people say they're the best. But Yamaha really dominates the East Coast. The farther east you go, or the farther south you go, Yamaha takes it. And then Merc really loses a lot of influence. By the time you get to Florida, Mercury is like a distant third. Then it's Suzuki and Yamaha run the whole show up there. But by the time you get to Cali or over here in Arizona, where there's more boats per capita than any other state, it's all Merc. And then everybody else is like second or third tier. So, yeah. Yeah, I got your email, Dominic. I got all your emails. I'll be taking care of that this week. I got a big pile of stuff sitting on my table. I know my wife can't wait for me to get rid of it. What's going on, Doc McKay? That is me. Let me see here. Bass fishing is great for kids. I think the chat bounced up again on me. I'm operating cables over here. You want a recessed foot tray? Don't be nervous about cutting into the floor. Be nervous about not cutting the right way, but if you get like a square ruler and you just measure the cuts, then really anybody can do it. Actually, Jordan from Tightline TV just actually very nervously cut into his boat for the first time ever, and he did it at our shop, so obviously we're there to save him, but he shows you how to do it right there. Have I ever caught a fish? What's court? Have I ever caught a fish? Have I ever caught a fish? Yes. Yes, many. Best engine for 3K for a 14 to 16 footer. So for 3K, you can get a higher end 20 horse, and that will push a blank 16 footer at about 20 miles an hour. One that's kitted out or heavily weighted down, it will not perform very well. It'll push a 14. I feel like a 20 horse is really meant for a 14-foot boat, so a 1436, it will really push very well. A 1442, it'll also push really well. Or 1542, it'll also push very well. You start to get to a 1448, something about the width of the boat, and especially a 1648, that's where a 20 is really going to start struggling and where you kind of start needing a 25. So the highest end 20 is about as much as the lowest end 25. So by the time you get to a 25 horse, you can get one for the same amount of money, just at or over 3K. A little over 3K, if we're being honest, and now in today's prices. For about, you can get a bare bones one. No starter, no power tilt, just straight up tiller or a non-tiller. That's what you would get. Actually, if you got it without the tiller, it would be cheaper, but you'd still have to buy all the steering cables and stuff. So for about $3,000, you can get one. But the tiller itself is an actual $400 extension. And then, so that's a big thing. So you either spend $400 for the tiller or you spend close to that for the console, the rotary steering, and like the throttle shift control and the cables, all that stuff. So that's kind of where we're at here. With this boat, the lowest that I personally would want to go is a 25. This boat is rated for a 60 horse, actually. But we're not going to put a 60 on here. This boat is... I think it's a little too small for 60. Personally, I think 60 was super ambitious and not safe. And so, okay, let me see. Should water actually make it where? Just wonder, will water make it where burn? Oh, we have bilge pumps. No, bilge pumps are definitely not useless. That is not true. That is definitely not true. We have we actually have two back there. We can show you the back. Yeah, we'll show you the back. Let's do that. I'll show you guys the back real quick. How we outfitted the back is like this. So this is the brand new Gen 4 25 horse Merc. And this is a long shaft. This is a 20-inch transom. So for 20-inch transoms, you need a long shaft. 15 to 16, you can get a short shaft. So that's how you know. Just measure your transom from the very bottom all the way up to the top. It's either going to be around 15 to 16 inches or it's going to be 20 to 21 inches, in which case you need a long shaft. That's the rotary steering. That's the actual umbilical. What is that? Yeah, I think it's the actual umbilical that we still have not actually hooked in here. No, we did hook it in here. It's just looped in here. So some people helped me install this, and not exactly the way I needed it to be installed, but it's also very loosely put on here because we don't have it mounted. Because we're going to probably put a jack plate on this. In order to put the jack plate on this, kind of mess this up because these are our through hole brackets. Also, one of our house accessories that they just allow you to see the water blow cleanly over there, and they just kind of divert over. So this is right in the way. If I put a jack plate, it would be right in the way of the rotary steering. Also, a lot of people that run jack plates end up going to hydraulic steering just so you can enjoy the full benefit of your jack plate without the rotary steering cable kind of just being stiffened in the way or hindering as you move it up and down, because it just kind of hangs over the boat at that point in time. So it's another reason we may not stick one on here. We'll see. Let me go over here. In the back, there is the actual live well pump. Then we used a starter kit for this one. And so for the starter kit, you got to buy your own hose. They come with like barb fittings. And so this is that plumbing hose you see, the braided plumbing hose that you see at Lowe's, Home Depot, any hardware store. This is for running that. But then for the 1 1/8 inch hose, we did have a little extra to bleed over, so we used it. But if you can see this stuff, it kinks, even if it's braided. It was kinking on that bend because it was bending into the through-hole fittings. But this stuff, it's got a PVC liner in the hose. So you can actually heat this hose up like fairly hot and then just bend it and mold it that way and wait till it cools and it'll stay that way. See how it's just like permanently bent that way? So this will never kink. And truly, it's not much more expensive, if at all, depending on some prices from hardware stores, than the braided hose, but it's way better. So I think it's just kind of worth it to get a premium kit like a live well kit if you're going to get one. I'm going to rig this up, but here's bilge pump 1. There's definitely at least one bilge pump in here. That's an auto bilge that we're running in here. I would really actually feel much more comfortable running 2. I think for the bilge pump specific idea, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Then we have a through hole we have a fuel water separator right here, running through all the fuel. We run complete non-ethanol in the gas tank for so many reasons. And this motor, it's ready to go. This thing is ready. It's quite, I will say it's kind of nice and refreshing. There's really not a whole lot more different with the Gen 4 than the Gen 3, other than the Gen 4 looks a lot better because it's got the Mercury's new cowl design. But a good live well kit for a truck toolbox catfish live well. That would be I would say a Gen 4. Like I really wouldn't, with that much water, I don't really know if I would want a valve system, because you're talking about toolbox is a big live well. I'd almost want to just fabricate. I would almost just want to fabricate a pump going in and then have a big overflow and just have water constantly pushing through there like all the time, and then possibly have a second pump to reset. That's where I would probably run 2 pumps on that deal. I would run 1 pump to a aerator nozzle for constant recirc, and then I would just run 1 pump from the through hole or the side of the boat to constantly be filling that water. So when you're on plane, you can recirc it, and then you just have to be on it. I think people who've got the Gen 3 or the version 3 live well kits from Flowrite, we've been trying to troubleshoot it with them, and we find out they have a catfish live well. They don't do well. So the version 3 live well kits don't do very well. We have the essentials kit would actually work really well for a catfish live well, but then you have that tube sticking through right through the middle. I think a catfish is big enough fish to probably just break that tube. It's supposed to be flexible, but I would just, at that point in time, rig my own plumbing. I'd rig a 2-pump live well. And then, yeah, I would definitely rig a 2-pump live well. And it had to have the most obnoxious pump, like an 1100 GPH pump, just to fill that thing at any sort of real speed, because it's so big. You would really, really need a pretty serious deal. Let me see. What is the longest wood boat? Well, good question, G-Style Fishing. So the budget build, which you might actually have in here for demo tomorrow, now that I've kind of undone some of the damage from the rodents, got it working pretty good, and I kind of rigged it out for myself right now so I can actually have a boat to go fish, because I didn't have any boat for a while. And so for the moment, it's actually my boat again. I got it kind of cleaned up again. And so we might have it in here, but that's a whole wood deck. That's a whole wood deck. We purposely did that one with all wood decks, all wooden sidewalls, and the subfloor is wooden, but we resin coated the entire thing. And I'll tell you, that boat feels so solid, you can't tell that it's a wood deck at all. And wood per span is actually stronger than aluminum. But the whole thing is resin coating it with a slow cure, deep penetrating marine epoxy. That's what gives the wood its longevity. If you do a fast cure, it just won't penetrate. It'll thicken up too fast, and it'll just only go skin deep. You kind of really want it to penetrate, and then you want to really secure it on there. And then obviously foaming over it, or putting whatever deck topper you're going to put, like this stuff, that'll also increase the life. Wood is just really prone to degradation over the time from the elements due to its organic nature. But if you have stuff on there to preserve it, it does last very long. It does last a very long time. I would think that I don't think I will ever see that deck that we put in that boat go bad, especially since we added all aluminum hatches. So a lot of people actually don't want to do this whole aluminum deck stuff. So we've showed people how to do it, where you can just, recess and drop in those aluminum hatches right into a wood deck. And a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of people have bass trackers. Those decks are notoriously wooden, even today, just to keep the cost down. And there's people that'll cut a hole, and they'll get a router, and they'll route 1.5 inch depth at 1/8, like 1.5 inch around the whole hole. And these hatches here, they'll drop right in flush. And we did that with the budget build. We have full videos on it. If you search up StarCraft or V-Hole budget build, like for TBNation on YouTube, We have full classes on how to do that deck, and I think it's pretty phenomenal considering. If you look up 1954 Starcraft restoration, then that's also included in the end reveal, obviously the process of how we got there. And that video gets viewed a lot. Something that most people are probably watching and rewatching it, not because it's extravagant video, but probably just to get that actual design. Because where aluminum hatches, or aluminum really shines, is the hatches. Like this one, that's why I made this one out of aluminum. This wasn't actually something I could drop one of our hatches in here because it's set too low already. So I had to like weld one together. I welded this whole hatch together. I gotta cut that end off. So let's cut that end off real quick. So when I did that because I could have made that out of wood. But then I gotta worry. The biggest thing about wood hatches, don't strut them. See, this one's on a strut. I used to strut wood hatches. In fact, we started the strut trend, and all of our hatches were out of wood because we had like no skills when we started out in the Tiny Boat Nation, like we kind of do now, and we just had imagination. But the struts are actually what make the wood hatches fail. So eventually you'll see the wood hatch blow off the hinge here or blow off here, and so I've had them fail no matter what I've done to them. So that's a major reason that we're against wood hatches, because I really like struts on the hatches. They help tremendously with avoiding broken gear or avoiding the hatch inadvertently slamming on your hand if the boat tips up from a wave or if the wind just hits slamming on your head when you're in the hatch. I really like struts. But even if you don't strut wood hatches, they like to warp. There's ways to get around the warping. Obviously adding a raised lip the same thickness as the board around the whole lip and making sure the board isn't warped to begin with before you cure it. That helps a lot. So we have seen some wood decks that last a long time, wooden hatches that last a long time. But for all the work that you put in, all the extra time that you put in, when you really calculate it all in money versus time put in to make those hatches worth it, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to make a wood hatch. A wood deck, though, totally worth it. You save all kinds of money, and arguably it's maybe only a little bit more work than what it takes to actually put an aluminum deck. Because the aluminum deck, it's not as strong per span. See, that's 090 decking. This is 090 here. Where is it? Right here? See how I flex that? That's about equal in weight. If I get a sheet of 090 aluminum, that's about equal in weight to a 1/2 inch piece of wood. I can't do that to a 1/2 inch piece of wood. I'll break my hand. That's what we're talking about, the strength per span. So I got to add a million little joints all the way down this deck here. And I got to put a million rivets in the deck. It takes an obscene amount of time. I can't think of anything more time wasting than riveting down an aluminum deck to the frame. You don't have to do that with wood. You got these little 1.5-inch rivets that we sell specifically for wood on the website. And you just kind of recess a little bit with a drill bit so the rivets fit flush flush down in there before you resin over it, and then you just install the wood deck. You install the hatches. We just use screws, countersink screws inside instead of countersink rivets, because we're installing them right into wood. You resin coat over all that, tape off the edges of the hatches so they can obviously you don't get resin in them. So you get resin down in the cracks, that would be terrible. And then that's it, you're ready. You can turf right over it. Can't tell the difference. In fact, tomorrow, just to show you how effective wood decks are, we'll bring the budget build in here and show you what we've done to it, just like we've shown you what we're doing to this boat. All right, so I think that's actually going to be a very good live. It's probably the most useful live because, I think people are kind of burnt out in looking at all this. Like somewhere down the line, it started becoming too much for the audience. And it's not like we turn a blind eye to it. And you guys are saying, why are you making all this expensive, extravagant nonsense? Get back to basics, get back to what you were from. So that's been a real big growing pain for me personally, is I have all these crazy ideas and I want to just do them all, which requires some advanced things. I've been made fun of before by people saying nothing you do is ever going to be simple. And so I don't know how true that actually is, but it may be true. But the budget build is fairly simple. And this boat is also very simple. Simple boats do kind of kill me to build. I don't like them. building them. I like it. I didn't like building it because it was simple. Like, I like the other one because it's very challenging. It's caused me a lot of problems that I'll have to overcome. I like that. I don't know if it's natural like that, but I'm all right with that. Let me put this thing away somewhere. I'm probably going to run my head into that later. I'm going to put it over there. All right, let me see what you guys got for the chat here. I know we've been here for a minute. Simple is too simple for Mike. Yeah, that's true. Heck yeah, man. Spend those gift cards. If you got a gift card, spend it. Because it means you get money off, plus you get money off on the biggest sale of our year. Because we were really trying to meet this quota. We're this close. I don't really know if we're going to get it in 3 days. 2 days now, but we tried so hard. But anyways, either way, no matter if we get the quota or not, you guys are so awesome. You guys have really made this year, I think, our best yet. Truly. Have I had an experience with Coleman motors? No, but I think Coleman is just rebranded as something else. Probably rebranded to Hatsu just like everything else. I don't know, the smaller outboards are really glorified lawnmowers, and I think they're only really made by one company and rebranded for a bunch of other ones. That's really been consistent. Where do I buy my non-ethanol? At Maverick. Or there's this place down here called Parker Oil. Any place that will sell it. It's generally in a blue handle. It's in a blue handle or a red handle. It's 91 octane non-ethanol. That's the best stuff for your outboard motor. G-Style would... What would a good live well kit for... Oh, we all talked about that already. All right, got that. All right. Let me see here. Where are we at? Okay. About to add 2 lights to... Yeah, I got... Did you get the gift card, G-Cell? You should have got it. I know that I told everybody to forward the emails to me, but if you didn't get it, I'll make sure you get it. I'll make sure you get it by tonight or tomorrow. I'll just message me again at mike@tbnation.net specifically. After this live, I'll go in there and figure all that out. I got to send a bunch of stuff so we can actually labels printed out for each and every one of these boxes, and then it going on here. So let's get back to this. I think I caught up on all questions. Let's show you here a little bit. Hello from Crappy Kaye. Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going, Chris? All right, so this is our rear facing hatches. By the way, it's just a 3-sided hatch, 3-sided track with a standard hatch that we have strutted, and that's just so we can have this back area for accessing. So we just like this. This wasn't normally done. Back before we took that off, there was this whole little elevated shroud thing that's supposed to catch water, and then the deck happened. We have found that to not be great, especially for venting. So you need some place for the gas tank to vent. It vents all day right there. And then you can always, and if anything's going wrong, you can just peek right over and check right in the back. Because if anything is going wrong, it's always right in the back. And you can know that. This is the live well. This is our version 3 live well kit. The starter kit, this is the flow right pump area to pump out nozzle, which as you pull it out, then you can pump, water starts pumping out through there but as you push it in. If you have in the recirc, which the switch is here, you flip that switch, you flip the switch to recirc like that, and then empty, it just empties straight out. But in recirc, a lot of people like to actually keep it in recirc, and they don't like water flowing constantly from the open lake. Just if they're trying to regulate water temperature and keep the water colder, they like recirc. But if somebody wants a constant flowing all the time, and then what these are supposed to do is while you're on plane, there's a valve in here that senses the lack of pressure from the outside, and it makes it go into recirc until the boat is back into the water, like out of the hole, back in the water. And so, and that's how that all works. And there's the 1 1/8 inch overflow right there. And that's real key here too. The good thing about the more basic builds, you have more room to do things. And this is kind of how you want any live well system. You want water coming in here, and you want your exit way over there. So you're constantly pushing water one way. So so many of my builds, I couldn't do that. The exit had to be right here and the fill water had to be right here. When you do that, you'll see fish clustered right here and away from that area. You can tell when your live well is not properly oxygenated, when the fish are all clustered right around the aerator to try and stay alive. Guilty for that. So just wanted to share that to you guys. That's a thing you got to worry about. All right, so check this out. So just like that one flipped up with that, this I kind of flew it a little too close to the sun. So now, there, that's a problem. I didn't anticipate that problem happening. So don't do what I just did there, because that's always going to forever be a problem where the seed is going to hit this. But hopefully we don't have to put too much in here. The only thing that's actually in here is our battery charger. This is a Noco Genius. Now I only got this one because the Dual Pro one wasn't out yet. So this one just charges everything from standard lead acid all the way to lithium. You actually choose the mode. So there'll only be one lead acid, and that will be that one. This is that's a cranking battery, and this is such a bit obscene cranking battery. I went and bought this one, which is very, very close to the size of this one. And those two are going to fit way better in that compartment. And that is just a car battery. Group 26 car battery. And with 525 cold cranking amps. Before I used to run the Group 24 MS, which was the Marine starting battery, which only had 480 cold cranking amps. So this one's actually better. And the only difference between that, a Marine battery in Walmart's eyes, is it has the posts like these and these. So it has the standard posts and then the ever big posts. But if I can find them here, dang it. Wonder where those went. They're probably on the other boat. So there's these. So in the Walmart section, in the fishing aisle or the boating aisle, the little boating and outdoor aisle, they'll have these post clamps that give you the little quarter 20 option. And the quarter 20 option is the only thing that separates a Marine battery from the standard car battery. But that thing is going to work so much better than this one. That one I'm probably going to take out and put in the other boat because the other boat has way more room for it. And it being right here is not going to cause me problems. I'm constantly paranoid about this stupid thing. I needed to have more comfort and space. And then we could theoretically, if we wanted to run a 24 volt setup, well, this battery is going to go over there and under there. But this 100 amp hour mini, we're going to end up laying it. Let me see if I can switch this here. We're going to end up laying it like this. On its side because we can, because there's no flooded water that we can, or anything we could worry about leaking. You can totally just lay these on the side like that and they can have total clearance. So this one will be over there. This one I'm going to try and just keep with our emergency stuff, like things kind of like the fire extinguisher, safety kits, whatever. Like those things will just be very basically underneath here in the event of any sort of problem. But I don't foresee a whole lot of problems happening. Or we could just lay this one in here. No, never mind. We ran the trolling motor cables over. It has to be over there. So let me. Dang it! This is really starting to haunt me now. The stupid seat. Now that power tilt actually works, this is not. Before, when the motor I had on didn't actually even have power tilt, so it was irrelevant. We're not the seat clip that, but this was such a tight fit. Everything was such a tight fit. This was that extra conduit that I had to run that 3-inch channel I talked about to get the rotary steering in here. And that's something I didn't pre-plan. When I was like way into the build before I had to figure out I had to run some sort of box for it to hide all the cables. You can see them coming out right here, and it's a lot. Like it's not a small amount, and for the boat being ran as basic as it is, it's kind of a lot. So to fit that tight and fit this all the way it was, and it was just kind of, this is as close as I could get. I even had to make another stock bracket here because there was a thicker one, and the thicker one definitely didn't work with the opening here. So that was its own problem there. But that's the setup. That's the only other storage we have besides this one here. which it is full. Yeah, this is a, so what we did there. We put that right in there. And you don't actually need to weld this, but I did. Welded it around just to make sure it would never move again. Welded it right to the hatch channel after I drilled a hole saw bit right through it. Actually did a smaller hole saw bit through the bottom and a bigger one through the top because the actual base is really wide. It's more like 3.5 or almost 4. 3.5, and this one was I think 1 1/8 or something. So we kind of just welded around like that. I was kind of careful because I was kind of paranoid it would start making the paint bubble, but the paint actually held pretty well. The powder coat we put on these hatches is pretty durable. I do need to spray paint that though. That looks pretty terrible. What we did is such. I'm a big fan of putting pedestals right on the hatches, especially if there's a channel support right here for it, because there's just not a whole lot of space to put it there. Like the hatch has to go here. It can't go anywhere else. And the pedestal needs to be about a foot away from the trolling motor for it to work. So you don't, where else am I supposed to put it? Either I extend the deck to compensate for one stupid pedestal, or I stick the pedestal right inside the hatch. And so this is like one of umpteen million pedestal hatches that we've made. And then obviously this box here is just a piece of sheet metal that we bent, this thin gauge sheet metal that we bent with the Harbor Freight brake to make a box for the speakers, which we're running very, very basically here. So, I mean, we'll probably just put duct tape on the wires right against the hull. Or we actually have, I think, wire grommets that we'll probably place to probably be a little bit better for longevity. But once that's ran, we'll cover this up. I would like to put another one of these day boxes right there underneath there. I think those would be awesome, but we're sticking a primary day box right here. We got to tighten it against the hull. This part where I welded 2 pieces of metal here. This is kind of bowed out a little bit. So we'll have to kind of push that in a little bit before this is going to be completely tight against this. But we welded this entire console. Welded and grinded and painted it. And it's very, very similar in conjunction to how like the old style bass trackers. I don't know about the new ones. Probably completely different looking those. But the old style bass trackers had one very, very similar to this. So we kind of had that nostalgic kind of pull to it. Then we have our TBNation stock switch panels, which we're trying to get more. You guys we sold out twice on our electric kits. We completely sold out of them twice during this season. So we know there's a need. Every time we have electric kits, they sell out immediately. So we're trying to really get a big bulk so we just don't sell out of them. Who knows? I mean, hopefully sooner than later we'll have that. All right, guys, we got 64 likes. Sweet. And we had quite a few people in the chat. How you guys liking this boat? Pretty good? Let's check what you guys have. All right. We can give away a few gift cards. You guys did all right. You guys did all right. Let me see here. The camo HydroTurf looks nice. How does it hold up to fish, slime, and mud? Really well, actually. This stuff actually cleans very well. And one thing I'll talk about before we do the giveaways is I actually did this to my boat today. I got, see that white stuff there? Right there. That's 303 protectant. I sprayed that all over this deck. Why? Because foam itself is plastic. It's a polymer. It's a polymer extract. Just it's foamy. It's not hard, but it is pretty much foamy soft plastic. That's what foam is, right? It's a petroleum product. And the 303 protectant specifically helps protect petroleum products from drying out, and it inhibits the UV rays that hit it. So I was thinking to myself one day, because the turf will degrade with excessive exposure to sunlight, especially out here where the UV index is insane, out here where I live. So to negate that, because what's happened before is the foam will you'll just get this powdery film on your hands, kind of like old oxidized paint happens with the foam. And that's like, you're on that point, that's the road to no return. You got to like do something about that. And so I sprayed that stuff all over the other deck for the budget build, and it went through one of the worst summers we've had. You know, last year was extremely hot, right? So one of the worst summers we had, and it actually looks brand new. So I'm gonna do that to all my turf jobs. If you have your turf job and you know we're gonna be using it a lot, or it's gonna be exposed and not garaged, just 303 protect. You can't do that with carpet. You can do it with marine vinyl. 303 specifically mainly for vinyl, but it just puts them on there. Make sure you spread evenly with a rag and just let it set for a day. It's good. It works really good. And that's why it's all nice and shiny. You can even tell this is like brand new turf. See it? How it's all dull looking? And then the rest of the whole area is all lit. All sharp and lit looking. So it does make your turf look a little sharper too. When you put it on there, it looks all brand new. All right, guys. What should we ask today for the live? Okay. All right. I got one. There's a generator right there. What size is it? For a $50 gift card, guess the size of that generator. And you can have $50. It's a Predator for sure. Dang, so close. Some of you were really close. Nobody's got it yet. I can't believe it. 5,000. What do you think I made of money? Jamie Orozco got it. You're the first one that said 3,500. Damien was close to 3,000. He puts out 3,000 cranking amps, but it's not called the 3,000. BJJ Fishing, I think. Oh, you were close. Damien, 3,300, man. You were off by 200. You're off by 200. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good job, Crappy Kev. By the way, don't use lithium for starting batteries. That's why we have a lead acid battery in there. That is actually very true. In fact, the new ones they updated this Gen 4. It still has a stator for the starter. I mean, still has a stator. And I'm thinking, notoriously, the stator had problems with lithium starting batteries, and because these ones still run stators on these ones, you just run a lead acid to be safe. So who got it? It was Jamie. Hey, Jamie, email us at support@tbnation.net and say you want a $50 gift card for the generator question. All right. You guessed? Well, hey, you guessed right. Everybody else was guessing there too. Let's be honest. You could do nothing but guess. You couldn't actually even tell what that was. Okay. Let me think. We'll do one more gift card. I gotta find a clever question. You guys are getting pretty good at answering my questions. They're not very challenging. I gotta think of like a good one. I gotta think of a good one here. Oh yeah. No, that's not a good question. You'll find that out immediately. Okay. Darn. Okay, I got this. What welder do I what welder do I use for aluminum? Like, does anybody know? It is a Miller. Can we get? That's too easy. I use the Vulcan too, but not to weld the boats. I would use to weld trailers on flux core. But is the Miller what? Not a TIG, not flux. You can't flux core aluminum. You can flux core steel all day. Standard cold rolled steel. Miller Pulse. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to give me some answers because we got Miller, Miller-Matic, Miller Pulse. 215. 255. Ooh. That's pretty good, Damien. Damien kind of got it a little bit. So it is It is the Millermatic 255P. Or no, I'm sorry, Millermatic. It's the Millermatic 255. So everything. I think the number is a little bit more. Okay, you got it there. What did I say, Damien? And who said Millermatic? Nobody said Millermatic. There was just like broken. Who said Miller Pulse? Okay, Kristen, just because that's kind of close, and because I was hoping that you guys would say like the whole title, but since I think that's a little much, we'll go ahead and give Chris Wilson a $50 gift card. And who else? Who got $255? Damien Glimp, again for the what, the 9th time in a row, has won a gift card on the live. How much money you got, Damien, in gift cards? Like a lot. You get another $50 gift card. Say you got it on the welding question. And, all right. It's pretty good. All right, let me see here. Spool gun. 220. There's not a spool gun. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was a Miller, but, like, I needed more specifics because, I mean, if you see that blue, you obviously know it's a Miller. There's blue in. So, like, what kind of welder was it? I mean, not what brand was it. What actual kind of welder was it? So, so that's kind of where that was at. All right, let me talk to you guys real quick about something here. You guys, some of you guys said Vulcan. You were kind of right. That is a Vulcan Omni Pro 220, and you could actually use that for aluminum. But I personally have not ever used it for aluminum. I got a spool gun for it, but so this is what we're running here. Let's talk about welding for a second, because it's a necessary evil. So this is the Millermatic 255P. Let me switch this camera around. And at our big shop in the Midwest, in Pekin, Illinois, they have the 355P, which is like this one, but with way better features. Well, not way better, but it's just the better welder, more options. And so this is set for aluminum right now. Push, pull, pulse, MIG. And so the push pull is, so the reason here, let me get this out. All right, so there's a few reasons why I spent quite a hefty amount of money on this investment. For one, this push-pull lead is 25 feet long. 25 feet long. And that specifically helps you. This can be right there. I never have to move it on the boat or around the boat. I never have to get out and move it. This thing will go anywhere in this boat. I can weld anywhere with a lead this long. You do have to be very careful with the lead. And then the other thing is this is a... It's kind of dirty in there. I got to blow that out. Yeah, I got to get an air gun. Got to get an air gun and blow that out every once in a while. But the whole thing with a spool gun is MIG. This is MIG. That's what a spool gun is, MIG. It is, but the spool gun, the reason you need a spool gun is because the aluminum wire itself is so soft, generally, it will not feed through a standard MIG gun. A standard MIG gun looks like this, obviously, but just not with this. But the thing with the spool gun is it's very bulky. So I could have got a pro gun for this welder and got the same results, same or similar results that I got with this one. It's just so in cramped, tight spaces, like welding into a corner or getting into a hatch and welding or getting in between framing and welding, that spool gun just gets stuck everywhere. So a lot of people, like Anthony, welds with a spool gun completely, with a straight like a titanium welder. He's doing that. So he welds the whole frame outside of the boat. So he can turn it around, flip it around. He doesn't have these problems and have these lead problems. He'll weld it, grind it, fit it, and then he'll actually cut and size and fit it into the boat, his whole frame. And he just does that with a Harbor Freight welder. And I could do that, but just for ease of time and speed, we don't do that. So this one actually pulls. This is just a motor that acts like what a spool gun would do, and it just pulls the wire from here. So it's getting pushed from that unit all the way through the lead and pulled here. So it's called push-pull MIG. And then obviously there's a pulse function, and the pulse function just makes it much easier and a better weld overall when you pulse the aluminum. So it's a good. I wish I would have maybe got the 355p. The guy talked me out of it, said I didn't need it. He's a liar. I didn't need it, but it's too late. I already spent too much money on that thing. I'm just gonna keep it. But that one's pretty good. But another entry-level welder you guys could check out is this one. This is the Vulcan Omni Pro 220. They generally have these in stock at Harbor Freight. And I have welded X amount of trailers with this thing, and I do like it a lot. And it does have a spool gun here, but I just don't know where it is. But I really did. This is my first welder. Actually, it wasn't my first, but it was like my second welder. But my first really big one that I did big projects on, that was my first welder. And that thing really will weld anything, mostly. Not everything, but as far as like DIY projects, it'll weld everything. My actual first welder was this titanium little Easy Flux 125. I think everybody should have one of these in their garage. It was like $139 on sale. Let me see that. I got a thing for a steal. It's like $200 and something. Got it for $139. And then I got a plasma cutter back there, but I almost never use that thing unless I'm cutting out like letters. I don't know. I find any other way to not have to use that thing. Yeah, really, that actually is the GOAT. We've done a lot of things with that one, but that one, the duty cycle runs out real quick. What do I think of PVC board decking? Yeah, 72 likes, not bad. So G-Style, I don't think much of PVC decking. I don't think much of PVC in general, because it expands and shrinks so violently with temperature change that it's going to expand or contract more than the parent aluminum or the framing. And to be fair, aluminum and wood don't expand and contract the same with temperature change or climate change, but PVC specifically expands and contracts a lot, like a disturbing amount. And it also heats up and does not let go of heat. So the deck gets really hot. Like if you heat up a rod tube to bend it like this, like those, you have to sit there with the bottle in that tube, and you have to be there for like a whole minute. You got to count like 60 seconds, and then it cools down just enough that it won't unform, but it's still really hot. So that stuff does not like to let go of heat at all. And for that reason, it's the worst decking to use. Forget the fact that that doesn't rot. It'll also dry rot. So I don't know how many houses you've heard out here where like PVC tubing, their whole plumbing just blew, and then they had to replace it with PEX or copper anyways. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of PVC in general. It's just like for rod tubes, which are cosmetically, they're not very low bearing or structure bearing. They're just there obviously as tubes that they don't do anything but store rods. I think that's the only thing you should put in your boat that's PVC. I would not use it for anything else. PVC also does warp, because when it does heat up, it bends. And that's a big thing. There's a real big thing about carbon core and Nitacore decking. That was just this composite plastic decking. And when that stuff got hot, it also warped and bent. So I'm not a fan of composite decking. Not even Kusa board. Kusa board is email Ryan Dominic about the gift card, and he'll take care of you. Yeah, that's support@tbnation.net. Email that one. Don't email me, because I actually don't even know how to do that. I mainly handle tech support, and I handle physical products. Well, welding one of my Gen X kits, actually, yes. Yes. Welding is always so much better, even with 1/16, which I didn't really think it would be that much better. But you got to think about welding like, what makes welding, what a rivet is, it's just a tack weld. It pretty much simulates a tack weld, all right? Not the strongest tack weld, but a tack weld. And a full penetration tack weld is all a rivet actually resembles. So if I just tack welded a bunch of, if I got this gun here, and I just went and did a bunch of little individual spot welds, like little tacks everywhere, that would also not be incredibly strong. What makes a weld really strong is you get runs. You don't just get little tacks here. You get straight up runs, like like that one, that's a whole run that I think I did in spurts, but that's what, a 4-inch run? A 4-inch run? At a 1-inch run, the weld is actually extremely strong. At 4 inches, it's incredibly strong. So it's way stronger than rivets will ever be. So it'll be a cold day in hell before any amount of rivets equals that. So you got to think about that. So anything that, even for like the major joints where you know there's going to be major amounts of stress on that, even if you just weld little bits of your boat, it will be better. And I did, yeah, again, I did not think 1/16 is harder to weld. It's because the thinner the aluminum, the more it will warp. But if you're willing to deal with that, and you know you can just kind of bend it or hold it in place when it tries to warp, it's fine. It's fine. And I don't know, the pulse actually makes it pretty pleasant to weld. So on a standard spool gun, you got to really watch it. It just takes some practice. You'll get it. You just got to practice it. Aluminum, if you can weld aluminum, you can weld anything. That's how I feel. Because I welded X amount of trailers with that flux core welder down there. I was like, okay, I'm ready to weld aluminum. And so right when I tried to weld aluminum, it looked like dog crap. Absolute dog crap. I tried any other different way of method I knew that I kind of had for my residual skill set of welding. Still, it all failed. It actually even looked worse. So aluminum is its own animal. But I tell you, if you can learn that, you can learn anything. Like welding still becomes infinitely easier. It's not even challenging after you can weld aluminum. But I mean, anybody can pick it up. Now, you know, you don't have to be in the NBA to play basketball. You don't have to be a carpenter to hammer a nail in the wall. So you don't have to be a welder to weld. Now, if you're going to go try to be professional, then you need to go to school and become a professional. But if you're just trying to figure out how to weld stuff like this, yeah, that can all be done DIY and fairly simple. I thought about making my own videos for welding, because a lot of like the people who are doing pro welding videos, they're all pros and they use the same stupid pro terminology that nobody understands. So I thought about doing that, doing a layman's term videos from a serious DIY, but then I can only imagine the amount of people who will attack those videos. But it's always on the back of my mind to pause. If you guys really want to see like a welding series, we can talk about it. I could show you guys some stuff. I posted one welding video a long time ago. It went nowhere. So we'll see. We'll see if you guys really want it, we'll do it. Crappy Kev. That's because I told like Ryan to forward all emails to me, but I don't think he got that. I said forward all emails for physical products to me, not gift cards. So I don't know why he forwarded the gift cards to me. I can't do the gift cards. So like he's got specific. I'll look, if you didn't get a gift card yesterday and you won in the live yesterday, email me again and I will forward that to him. And I'll make sure I make a list so that all you guys are taken care of before the turn of the new year. So and that means tomorrow. So we're gonna get it done tomorrow. How much money per hour do I think Western Welding Academy would give me for my welds? $10 an hour? 15? I don't know. I don't like those videos. Somebody said my welds were like $15 or $20 an hour welds or something like that. Like from the TikTokers, it was the TikTokers that got me. Like when I was showing how I welded my instant power pole, like, you know, my anchors, the ones with the handles, where I welded the whole thing on top of the back of the pond prowler when I was welding the whole kit in. Somebody commented. So clearly not that much, because I think welders can make in excess of $50 an hour if you're good. So it's probably not very much. I don't know. I also don't weld a lot. I mean, I weld a lot in spurts, and then I don't weld anything for like a month or two. So the longer you do it, the more consistently you do it, the better you are at it. But it's something that you have to just gotta know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what they would say. I do think the welding community, they're kind of dorks. Like their jokes are bad. They have like welding jokes. They're bad. They're just bad. And you know who else has bad jokes? Jiu-jitsu jokes. The jiu-jitsu community, very bad jokes. And also notoriously the boxing. I follow fights a lot. So there's a lot of fight training videos and stuff that fly through my feed on social media. And The boxing jokes are slightly more funny than the jiu-jitsu jokes, but they're still pretty bad. And then welder jokes are the worst. They're the absolute worst jokes. I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, it just must be a stale crowd of people in there. Like I've never really worked around a bunch of welders, but I can only imagine what that would be like. What you'd have to like. I don't know. What do you guys think? They're like weird, and I'm weird. So for me to call anybody else weird, they got to be like legit weird. Yeah, I have 5 welders in my garage, but I don't weld a lot. I mean, I got that Everlast welder in there, that green one. That's an aluminum pulse welding thing too, but I got it specifically to learn TIG. But yeah, I got a whole lot of time to just learn how to TIG. There's got to be something where I have to learn, and then I'll learn. I'll figure it out. So that's kind of how that will be. Welding, I'm not contingent on, I'm a fabricator who can weld. That's it. That's how that goes. That goes. I can't remember. He said $15 or $25 an hour. I can't remember but that's just not a whole lot for what a welder can. A welder can actually make a lot of money. Like you got all these noobs who get sucked into college just to work a tech job in their pajamas, making like $20, $25 an hour max. And a welder just makes that starting with like less than a year of school. And then he makes all the way up to 50. Those tech noobs are never going to make $50 an hour sitting in their pajamas at home unless like they make like general manager or something. Like, in order for you to make that much money in like a corporate-ish job, you got to be working for a serious firm or something, or you got to be really high up the total pole like a GM. Because that's a lot of money. But welders can actually make that on average, and you don't have to be a supervisor of nothing. In fact, like the foremans of welding they got to make so much money. You know, talk about an actual trade to get into where you make actual money and feel like a man. I can't think of anything more manly, honestly, than welding. Aside from like being a soldier, like out there in the suck. That's it. Other than that, welding. Also, firemen are pretty manly, let's be honest. And cops too. But welders definitely right there. You gotta think about it. Like you're sitting there and like, you know, a group of girls, they walk around the corner and they see you welding some shit. You know, they're kind of turned on from that. Like, they got to be a little bit, right? You can't really be very appealing to women if you're just like sitting there in your pajama. Imagine what your physique will look like if you just sit there on a computer. I don't know. Like I should talk. I sit on a computer a lot editing videos. But I don't know. A male stripper is pretty manly. Yeah, you're right. That is a pretty alpha job. I couldn't do it. 100%. Oh, let me see. You're the baddest welder on YouTube? There's some people who will compete with you for that. Let me see. It's more about how much you save not subbing it out. What? Now, have to see welding vids? You should watch welding vids. I mean, don't get deterred by their language and how weird the welders are in the videos. They're just that way. Some people actually are fairly neutral. I can't remember of any of them. But there's some on YouTube. You just got to filter. There's like a million people trying to be expert welding people on the YouTube. But there is some. Like, it's worth learning. Like, it's the ultimate DIY skill to have, I think. Welding is like the ultimate DIY skill to have. And if you really want to go somewhere with it later, you'll already have a head start. And a lot of people actually go into welding school and they already know kind of what to do, but it's all the textbook and the testing and the stuff. A lot of them don't want to deal with it or push through with it or feel they don't have time for it. But if you can just go in there and actually do the textbook work, and then you already kind of know what to weld, it works pretty good. They'll make you do all the processes too. You learn MIG, TIG, stick, flux, aluminum, like you'll learn how to weld stainless steel. So obviously the metal that you weld is also really important. Like people who can weld stainless steel and aluminum good, those I think you get more money for those. I don't know. Actually, like I mass hoarded tools because right toward the end of my day job where I could not take that job no more, I was like, I'm not meant to do this job. I hate it. I was having like migraine stuff, like. And so I started hoarding tools because I was going to go and do literally anything else than my little cushy office job. If I was going to quit and I was just going to go work, I was going to become a laborer somewhere. and just work my way up the ladder to get an actual trade to where I was like a specialty trade. I was just going to figure it out. I didn't care how much it sucked, what I had to do, what cancerous thing I was going to be exposed to. I was going to figure it out. But then you guys pulled through and saved me from that. I did actually, there's one point in time in like this time, because this time of year, we're like really, actually you guys have been making this an exceptional year because generally we don't have very much traffic. But there was one year where it was like our first year in business where we legitimately were a real company, TBNation outdoor company. And we had the crappiest winter where we were kind of almost broke. And then I was like, I'm gonna have to go find a job. And so my neighbor down here who sees me working on things in the front yard is like, hey, you should come work for me. And I was like, so then I called him up in January. I was like, is that job still available? And then so I went and worked there for like a whole week, and they loved me, but I hated it. It was terrible. It was so terrible. Actually, it was great at the same time. We were around men. It was just nothing but us working there, talking crap to each other, making fun of each other. Like, the people in there kept playing Mexican music, and we asked them what happened to the radio station. They would say it's broken. It was funny. Like, it was funny, but the work was so shitty. And I was like, that's where you could really feel your age. I was like, I don't know, man. Oh, I talked a lot of crap. Like, I would just go in the trades like nothing, but man, it sucks. And so after a week, like I would get done with that job, then I'd come back to try and do something on social media. I would get home and I would fall asleep. Then I'd wake up and I would be like, dang, the day's gone. I gotta go to work again at 7 a.m. and it was cold. Yeah, I don't know. And then you guys came and saved me. I don't know what happened, but like late January into February, they're like, Mike, we're getting busy again. I was like, thank heaven. And so so that was nice. It was a nice humbling experience to have that. That's tough. The trades are tough, but they'll make a man out of you. Just not like, and all those jokes about like the construction starter pack started making more sense, where you would see the construction starter pack and it was like an energy drink, ibuprofen, and something else. There was like a third item. I don't know what the third item was. I was like, man, that sucks. I was like, what was that? But that was kind of what it was. Oh, no problem, Sean. No problem. You got the pedal tray? Sweet. Who's congrating? Who won? Who won what? What did I miss? Oh, we got 80 likes? We did get 80 likes. Oh man, if I give too many gift cards out, they're gonna start hitting me up here. What did I do here? Do I have a filter? I could change a filter in the live. They all look pretty hideous. Let's just go with no filter. How do I get out of this? Okay, I don't know how to get out of it. I did something weird to the screen, and I don't really know what I did. Let's just go with no filter. Come on, get off. I can actually... Oh, you can just do stuff right in the stream. Oh, I found a way to unmute the microphone. So next time it mutes when somebody calls me, I can... All right, I got this here. Let me look here. Andrew gave a membership? Sweet. Is that what that was? Thank you. Appreciate that. Granite Fabricator. Let me see. What happened to the 16-foot Nitro MX Bass? It's still in my backyard. We wanted to do a lot of crazy things to that boat, but we're thinking the hull is such a POS that if we did all the things to that boat, it would not last very long and it'd be a waste of time. So we're probably going to do a really conservative restructure on that boat. We already repowered it. So we're gonna redo it with a few new things, but ultimately we're gonna recarpet it with that carpet we showed you, that 20 ounce. We're just gonna get that boat going, and that boat can get going pretty quickly. I think we can get that boat going. Okay. I guys sell a ton of stuff. We sell enough. Definitely more than... Just seen a bid on a $10 Temu welder. It was $10. Really? I want to watch that video. I mean, the welders on Amazon, they have to work, at least for a trailer. I don't know how well they work for aluminum. But, let me see here. Let me get... All right, what you guys got here? What do you guys got here? Learning how streaming on YouTube works? I should actually probably take the time to do it. I think most streamers don't do it like how we're doing it. We're just kind of raw. They have like setups. Like real streamers, they're running a PC. They're not running Macs. I refuse to get a PC. And so, yeah, I refuse to get a PC. Not ever again. Like, Bill Gates has enough money. So what's going on, Joe B? How are you? Would I ever do a jet drive boat? Kind of out of my league. Well, my element. I would need to have a buddy who could do the motor stuff for me. We got John Steer. He actually built his own jet drive boat. He built a few of them. That's what he's kind of initially made into our crew on YouTube for. I would follow him for a jet drive boat, but if I had help making it, I would do one. But somebody would have to rig that motor. Like, for me to have to learn how to do the motor. What's the most likes in my live? I don't know. I think 100 and some odd, 120. I think we reached 120 likes in Tennessee when the whole crew was together and we were showing you guys a bunch of stuff out there. And all of us are doing a Q&A. Well, but Apple's worth the money. I really hate the PCs. I don't know. You know what? You don't have to worry about Apple's viruses and drivers and a bunch of other spam promotional stuff. Generally not in Apple systems. They're a little bit more about privacy and security, even though they're all kind of hacked and corrupted. But I think Apple's slightly more tolerable. Make a riverboat. What's a membership? What's gifting a membership? Or is this just like buying memberships to the actual channel? That's cool though. Gifting a membership. Oh, you're gifting a membership to somebody to become a member of the channel? That's sweet. That's cool. That's cool. We're about to actually cut off Patreon here pretty soon because I don't have time to manage two platforms. Not today, but soon enough. I think all of our extra content will just strictly be, and then our live coaching chats will just strictly be done on YouTube for members. So becoming a member is one of the only way you'll see all the exclusive masterclasses and content here pretty soon, just for it to be manageable, because YouTube kind of just self-manages everything, and Patreon just keeps getting worse and worse. So that's kind of how that's been going on. Yeah, Senate John Boat is too busy running a shop, starting up that shop. But the minute we get some employees, by the way, if you're in Georgia, we're looking for some people to work with us down there. We had a team, and then I don't know, for some odd reason they're saying they're having a huge problem recruiting. I know for a while nobody wanted to work at all, but I think now people have to. So maybe it changed, but I don't know. We were having problems finding anybody who would work at all with us down there. So if you're in Georgia, like in North Georgia, in that area, we definitely would like to have you come work with us down in that shop. We have a Weld Pro AC TIG and Yes Welder. That's what it's called, Yes Welder. I would like to try those. Yeah, they work on boats. JVers, they work on boats. And obviously a lot of product fulfillment and customer service stuff because it's a store, trade shows. They do a lot of underground stuff, and they also do videos when they can. Just so many of those things will jam your time up. So yeah, 13 away from 100. Look at that. I've also been on live for almost 2 hours. I think the longer we go on the live, YouTube starts to actually take you seriously. So we've been pretty fortunate to get that going. Is there anything that you guys want to ask about the boat? Because it is here. Obviously, there's not a whole lot to it. But if you guys have any questions before we launch the final gift card, because I guess 100 likes is worth another gift card. 100%. But if there's anything you want to ask real quick before I have to end the live and start re-rigging this boat, please ask. What paint did I paint it with? That's a good question, right? And the live. Oh, he's the one a gift? You don't got to gift that, Andrew. Like, that's cool that you would do that, but you don't got to do that. This is what we painted that whole thing with. That's Rust-Oleum oil-based enamel from Lowe's. Here it is. And what's going on, Sea Sparks? How are you? Yeah, like we painted the whole thing. We used paint thinner, so we thinned it because its stuff is extremely thick, and if you just paint it on there, it'll orange peel immediately. So we thinned it out with a paint thinner, so it was like a milky consistency, not a thick paint consistency. It was milky, and once it's like milky or like 2% milky, then we painted it on there. Did 2 or 3 coats, and that's after a pretty good. We 36 grit orbital sanded or 40 grit orbital sanded the whole hull to rough it up. So that was the initial etch. Then we, I used self-etching primer so I could double etch it pretty much. But we could have used any primer at that point in time after you do the etch job yourself. And then as long as you hit it with acetone, I hit it with denatured alcohol because denatured alcohol, which is more or less camp fuel, is a true oil remover, oil and residue remover. So that stuff I hit it with it, and then I hit acetone to do the final decontamination. And the hull's about as clean as it gets. You can't get the hull any cleaner unless you use etch wash, which you didn't have. But between the denatured alcohol and the acetone and the etch job myself, it's ready for a primer. Self-etching primer already has the etching agent in there. It's not very strong, but it does it. So that was a really good primer job. And then at that point in time, you just got to kind of scuff it up with one of these. What is it? Where did it all go? Oh, here, yeah. These. You want the red ones. These white ones also work. And then I had a gray one somewhere that's a little bit more abrasive, but it doesn't need to be terribly abrasive. It just needs to be enough to scuff the surface. So scuff pads will do it better. Sandpaper, you're taking a risk of blowing right through the actual primer. So I don't really like to use sandpaper. But and then we just rolled it on there with a foam roller with one of these. Dang it. These. Which is the most neutral roller that you can get. And then if you need to touch it up or you need to tip it for any reason, you just get a standard little throwaway brush like these. Those are consumables. All day from Harbor Freight. That's how we painted the whole boat. And that's how we'll probably paint all other boats from here on out. Because it's easy. You don't need a whole lot of anything else professional to do it. I mean, and it's going to last pretty well. And the oil-based enamel is very robust. That's the stuff we used to paint my aircraft carrier, like when I was on the Truman. Oh, I mean, we got really familiar with oil-based enamel. We were forever using it. And it was the most thick, disgusting, nasty stuff. You got it on your hand, it took an act of you know what to get it off. So live stream a day working on the boat, you know how boring that will be? Nobody will watch it. It'll be extremely boring. Because we move at the speed of sound. Like I hyper lapse everything, or I speed up everything because how long it actually takes to do anything on the boat. If I got a real crucial thing that I can live stream, I'll do it. But it generally takes so long to do it. Maybe I'll be able just to talk with you guys while I'm doing it. Should you paint the inside too? Yes. Yes, you should. If you can. This boat was so toxic and disgusting inside, I did not paint it. But then I also did not put any foam on the bottom. So check this out. Check this out. Hold on. Come on. So, see that in there? That's water. That's water in there. And so there's a fair amount of water in the subfloor because we didn't pull the drain plug. But that water down there is doing absolutely nothing to the boat because we elevated all the foam above the boat. So the water can't actually degrade the hull anymore. So we're really happy about that. Specifically, we're very happy about that. You can watch I don't know if you want to. Hey, I'll live stream when we paint the boat. If you guys want to see that. I can definitely do that. But it's going to be has to be during the day and something. And it has to be the right temperature to actually paint the boat because Kind of hard to paint a boat in winter. It'll take forever to dry. But we have an actual heater here. The best thing I've ever bought for this garage is actually this. And I couldn't take it no more. This past summer was so hot, and I could never get nothing done. I finally got a heater. Finally got my stuff together and got a heater, and we got that working. But we definitely no shortage of painting boats. That's always a thing that we have to do anyways. So you definitely can check into that. All right, guys, one more like, we can get to 90. We'll go ahead and give another gift card away. Yeah, we'll do one more. I got a question for you guys too. I just figured out one. You installed your mini split in your garage? Yeah, I think a mini split. And I was gonna do the DIY one, and at the end of the day, I choked and bailed out of it, returned it, and just got somebody to install one. I'm so glad I did that. They did a way better job than I would have done. They put it on the roof, so it's completely out of the way on the bottom. My dogs would just peed on it the whole time if it was on the bottom. So I'm glad they did that. Super happy. All right, we're at 90. All right, I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. Check this out. See that swim bait? The gray one. It was the gray one, not the trout. The one that's... How long is that swim bait? How long was the gray one? For 50 bucks. Who said 16? Somebody got it right away. Damien got it. Man. Actually, hold on. Let's be fair. Okay, everybody stop guessing real quick. If you put your guesses in, go ahead and hold it. We're gonna see. How long is it? Then we'll go back and see who actually got it. I wanted to say it's 16, but I don't actually know. No, it is 16. Yeah. Yeah, 16. Whoever said 16, which I think was Damien, got it like almost immediately. Let me see here. Man, you guys guessed a lot of guesses. Hold on. Yeah, Damien got it. All right, Damien, you got the gift card. Email support@TBNation.net for that gift card. Heck yeah. Go ahead and good eye. That was definitely 16 inches. That's a pretty good eye. That's the biggest swim bait ever. It's actually a prototype swim bait. It actually was prone to breaking. I don't think it ever made it into production past the testers, and I ended up getting a hold of it from a tester, but it just hangs as a souvenir. This is actually incredibly light. Like, the bait maker who made this was a pretty phenomenal bait maker. This is actually pretty light. It's like surprisingly light. It'll break, but it's surprisingly light. Got to give it to itself. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about stream lag, C-Spark. Yeah, I can't do anything about that, but all I can do is to see what's on my screen. But heck yeah, guys, thank you guys for making this stream cool. I hope you guys like this boat. Check out our Weekend Warrior kits on TBNation. We have the biggest end of the year blowout sale ever. You guys hopefully capitalize on it. We only got a few days left in this whole year to do it. So I think by Monday, the sale will be over. And I might be lagging too, guys. I'm sorry about the lagging. Yeah, I'll probably stream tomorrow, but I'll probably have the budget build in here. I will stream tomorrow, and I'll have the budget built in here, and that has a wooden deck with hatches, and I think that is definitely worth doing a live on. It's so worth doing a live on, just for the simple fact of it's so much more different than what we've been doing, and I didn't do a really exclusive walkthrough coverage of that boat. So that boat will be in here tomorrow. We'll have it in here tomorrow. We'll figure that whole thing out. All right, later, guys. Thank you much. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.